You can start the streaming with IT.
Perfect, we could go ahead.
The July 21st, 2021 Oregon State Lottery Commission meeting is now in session. It is noted for the record that commissioners are attending this meeting via web meeting and a quorum of commissioners is present for today's meeting. Today's meeting is being live streamed on the internet and a link is posted on the Oregon Lottery website. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Commissioner Patel?
Here.
Commissioner Wilcox?
Here.
Chair Sathoff?
Here.
Will the clerk please inform the commission of who else is in the meeting?
Director Pack, Janelle Simmons, Kathy Ortega, Kathy Stromberg, Carrie Hemphill, Chris Scarro, Matt Shelby, Nate Carter from DOJ, Sar Richards, and Ty Calandralo.
Thank you. Members of the public had the opportunity to provide written public comment to the commission for this meeting. Can the clerk please confirm that no public comment was received?
That's correct.
Thank you. Are there any commissioner communications? Doesn't sound like there's any. Let's move on to the director's report.
Thank you, Commissioner Patel. A little lottery news to start. Another sign that we have turned a corner with this pandemic. We reopened our Wilsonville Payment Center for in-person appointments this month. Building upon our experience reopening Salem, the Wilsonville reopening went very well. Our players seem to really appreciate the ability to make an appointment for payment. When surveyed about their experience using the online reservation system, our players are overwhelmingly positive, with 88% of those that responded rating their satisfaction with the service they received a 5 out of 5. And one quote from a player: "Maybe a comfortable pillow and mimosas, continental breakfasts, laughing out loud, just joking," said one respondent. "You guys rock. Your office was kind, courteous, and helpful. Keep up the great work." So kudos to the team involved in opening both those payment centers. It wasn't all smooth, but overall, great customer experience. This month, we also met the winner of Oregon's $1 million Take Your Shot Oregon drawing, Chloe Z, a college student from McMinnville. Lottery was proud to support the vaccine drawings. Our random number generator ensured accurate random draws where every eligible Oregonian had a fair chance to win. We also hosted the governor at Lottery headquarters for the press conference to announce the $1 million winner. And just last week, Governor Brown and Treasurer Reed announced the 5 $100,000 scholarship winners for young people aged 12 to 17 who were vaccinated. All told, we performed more than 140 individual draws for the statewide $1 million prize, $10,000 county level prizes, scholarships, and other initiatives. As you know, we are working to bring more structure to our engagement with Oregon's 9 federally recognized tribes. Last week, Lottery's Matt Shelby presented a draft tribal consultation policy to the Oregon Tribal Gaming Alliance. We shared the draft earlier this summer directly with tribal leadership. We'll continue to share and take feedback on our consultation policy throughout the summer and plan on finalizing it this fall. We have 3 main goals with the policy: to foster stronger relationships and communication with Oregon's tribes, to be transparent with lottery roadmaps and strategic plans, and to seek opportunities to partner where we have common interests. Switching gears to a brief sales update, we will have more in-depth product presentations later in this agenda. Video lottery continues to perform incredibly well this summer, currently more than 40% above what we saw last summer after the initial statewide reopening between May and June of 2020. Over the past few weeks, scratch-it sales have largely been consistent with last summer and still quite a bit above the pre-COVID summer of 2019. Recent Keno sales have been incredibly strong, in large part due to a $96,000 8-spot jackpot. The major jackpot draw games are performing at steady levels in the absence of any significant jackpot rolls. And finally, a story from a recent winner. When Scott Newland's phone started flashing and celebrating while he was checking his ticket using Lottery's mobile app, he knew he had a winning Keno ticket. The question then was how much and how was he going to claim his prize? Quote, I saw that I won $22,933 with my Keno 8 spot, Newland said. The Oregon Lottery has a new appointment system, and I figured I would try it. It worked really well. I see the long lines of people who haven't scheduled an appointment, and I was in and out in 20 minutes. It was much easier and convenient. Newland purchased his ticket while in the Roseburg area at the 1 a.m. market. He said he normally gets a $5 ticket with 5 Keno draws. The Oregon City man also said he hadn't decided what to do with his winnings and was trying to decide whether to save it, pay off bills, or go on a vacation. With everything else that has gone on this last year, I'm not sure what I'm going to do with the prize, he said, but this time my $5 ticket really paid off. And that is my report for this month, and I'm happy to answer any questions from the commission.
Barry, have you shared with us before the consultation policy with the tribes? If you have, I don't recall it. I just wondered if we could, if you wouldn't mind, if you sent me a draft, I'd just like to take a look at it.
Absolutely, and I don't think we have sent it to you. My apologies for that. That was a miss on our part.
No reason you needed to. That's an interest of mine. So if you could send it, that would be great. Thanks.
Yeah, I will ask Matt Shelby to ship that off to all of you.
Thank you. The minutes of the previous commission meeting have been circulated to the commission. If there are no changes to the minutes, is there a motion to approve?
I move that the minutes of the Oregon State Lottery Commission meeting held on June 30th, 2021 be approved as final as presented today.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
Will the clerk please call the roll?
Commissioner Patel,
Aye.
Commissioner Wilcox,
Aye.
Chair Southop,
Aye.
For the record, the motion has passed. I think next we have up the financial report from Kathy Ortega.
Yes, good afternoon, Commissioners, Director Pack. For the record, my name is Kathy Ortega, Chief Financial Officer for the Oregon Lottery. And as is our custom, we are presenting the draft statements for the month of June and our fiscal year end. I'm not asking for approval today as we are in the process of closing our books. We will bring this statement back to you for approval next month after we have had a chance to complete that process and receive any potential pass down entries from DAS that we may need to record as they are going through their year end and passing along any entries that need to be shown on our books. So if you would please take a look at the operating statement for the month of June. We have 112 million on a budget of 115 million, just slightly under budget at 3.8 million. We have some game vendor charges and sales support that are over budget for the month, but that is really more a function of just closing out and tying up all of the loose ends on our year end. Salaries, wages, and benefits are slightly over budget, and we have a net profit of 77.9, almost 78 million on a budget of 73.9 or $4 million favorable to budget. Looking at the year-to-date statement, as of June 30th, we have revenue of $1,036 million on a budget of $1,028 million. Game vendor charges and sales support are positive for the year. Tickets are negative for the year because we had such strong scratch at sales. We did have a negative variance in salaries, benefits, and wages, but that is largely attributable to the bonuses that we paid out, the 2% bonus that you approved and we paid in June. But you see it here, the impact of it actually it was in, May, I don't remember which month, but it was for the year. And so we did not have that in the budget. Net profit of 650.9 million on a budget of 623.3 is $27.6 million favorable. On the schedule of services and supplies, we have the retailer network variance, which I spoke of throughout the year, being the costs that we absorbed for our retailers during the pandemic. And we came in just slightly over budget on facilities maintenance, and that is largely attributable to some of the work that had to be done for the winter storms and some of the events that we had this year. Going on to the next page, it's our balance sheet as of June 30th. And we also have our capital spending for the year, which shows at this point in time on a budget of 75.7, we spent 43.3, 32.4 million underspend, which a good chunk of this is going into the budget for fiscal 22. I'm not asking for approval today, but that's the statement as I have it. And I believe that we do have a motion for you. Director Pack, did you want to kick off comments on that?
Yeah, thanks, Kathy. We have the benefit of strong recovery from the pandemic. And as you'll recall, we were spending down our contingency each month as when video lottery sales were shut off. We have seen, as I mentioned earlier, strong sales recovery. In fact, so strong that since the full reopening of our economy, we have rebuilt our contingency back up to that $100 million cap that you have set. And there will likely be a little bit more on top of that, given the fact that the legislature has adjourned for the year and approved their budget, and that we have ongoing modernization needs and BLT replacement costs that we're working out how to fund. My recommendation is to ask that you move any additional administrative savings over the $100 million contingency cap into a reserved capital reserve for modernization. And Kathy, do you want to talk about the range of amounts and when you will have final numbers?
Yes. As of right now, we've got about 5 million in administrative savings over and above the 100 million. That number can change. We could find some audit entries or some things that could go down. I would predict that the number will come in somewhere between 4 and 5 million, and I will be able to report that final number out to you next month. But in the meantime, I think we're asking that anything in administrative savings be set aside for our modernization program.
Kathy, you think that, sorry, Kathy, do you think the 4 to 5 million is like that 5 is the top of the range?
I think so. It's at this point in time in our close process, it's more likely that we wouldn't see any additional revenue entries. Our revenue comes in, firmly from the systems, but having a late invoice or a pass down entry from DAS is always possible. So that's why if we have 5 million, I'm saying it could be 4 to 5.
Yeah. Okay.
Any other questions? I believe there's a motion for the set aside of the administrative savings.
Is there a motion to set aside funds for modernization?
I move that the Oregon State Lottery set aside 5 million in capital committed for modernization programs.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
Pause that for a second and ask Julie if you could amend your motion to not include the 5 million so that we have, if it's not 5 million, we're not taking money out of somewhere else.
Okay. So it would be the money that's determined by Kathy Ortega to be set aside.
as administrative savings.
Yes.
Capital, yeah.
I second.
Will the clerk please call the roll?
Commissioner Patel,
Aye.
Commissioner Wilcox,
Aye.
Chair Sathoff.
Aye.
For the record, the motion has passed.
And that's all I have for you today.
Thank you. Looks like next on the agenda, we have a little bit of rulemaking with Chris.
Yes, thank you, Commissioners, Director Pack. For the record, my name is Chris Scaro, Rules and Policy Analyst for the Lottery. I've got 2 rulemakings on your agenda this afternoon. First, Powerball drawings are currently held every Wednesday and Saturday. However, last year, the Powerball Product Group announced a 3rd weekly drawing that would be held every Monday starting August 23rd, 2021. Our product team has been preparing for the additional drawing, and it does require a very modest rule change to the Powerball rules to add Monday to the list of days on which Powerball drawings are held. For the record, we filed notice with the Secretary of State on May 21st, 2021. We notified interested parties, media contacts, and certain legislators. We provided 5 weeks for the public to comment in writing, and we held a virtual rulemaking hearing over Zoom. However, we did not receive any comment on the change. Director Pack has reviewed the rule and does recommend the Commission adopt the rule as it's reflected in your materials today to take effect on August 23rd, 2021. Happy to discuss further. Otherwise, you have a motion in your materials.
Is there a motion to adopt the proposed rulemaking?
Sorry, I want to unmute. I move that OAR 177-085-0015 be amended as presented in the meeting materials today to be effective August 23rd, 2021.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
Will the clerk please call the roll?
Commissioner Patel.
Aye.
Commissioner Wilcox,
Aye.
Chair Sathoff.
Aye.
For the record, the motion is passed.
Thank you. And I have one more for you. So again, for the record, Chris Scaro with the Lottery. So I talked to you back at the May Commission meeting that we do have a rule that sets the weekly sales goal for our video lottery retailers. The current sales goal is stated in the net sales format. And as you might recall, last year we moved to the dollars played format. So we had proposed to just do an across the board conversion into the dollars played format. And this should not have any substantive change on any of our retailers, but does align with the new commission structure. We did reach out to our video lottery retailers and let them know we were considering this change and gave them a chance to ask any questions. We also, for the record, filed notice with the Secretary of State on May 21st, 2021, notified interested parties, media contacts, and legislators, provided 5 weeks for folks to comment in writing, and we held a virtual rulemaking hearing over Zoom. However, we did not receive any comment for you to consider today. Director Pack has reviewed the rule and does recommend the Commission adopt the change as reflected in your meeting materials to be effective July 22nd, 2021. And happy to answer questions. Otherwise, you should have a motion.
Is there a motion to adopt the proposed rulemaking?
I move that
OAR 177-045-0030 be amended as presented in the meeting materials today to be effective July 22nd, 2021.
Do I hear a second?
second.
Will the clerk please call the roll?
Commissioner Patel,
Aye.
Commissioner Wilcox,
Aye.
Chair Southoff,
Aye.
For the record, the motion has passed.
Thank you.
See, it looks like next we have some staff updates.
Is that for product? I'm sorry.
Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
All right, cool. I will share my screen. Can everyone see that has video capability?
Yeah, I can see it, sir.
I can see it.
All right, cool. Good afternoon, the director, commissioners. For the record, my name is Sarah Richards. I am the manager of video gaming products here at the lottery. And today I'll be presenting the lottery product and video gaming product updates. As alluded to earlier by both Director Pack and Kathy Ortega, scratch it sales were strong again in the last quarter, 50.4 million. Again, the 10, 5, and $2 price points were the most popular. The highest average ticket price did surge to 3.84, which is one of the strongest we've seen in the past few years. $20 price point does have really good penetration at 95.1%. On the system side, Aurora was implemented on May 23rd, installed and activated. They're still going through acceptance. There are a few critical errors that have not yet been cleared, but there is no, at this point, no desire or need to extend the acceptance period. Any questions on, oh, I should note too, the transfer number right now is TBD. That hasn't been finalized and confirmed yet for any of the products, but it looks like it's gonna be very close to forecast or right at forecast. Again, also had a good, strong quarter. On all the lottery products, we really are expecting the surge that we saw from the COVID opening to level out and then see those lottery products settle into a performance level it's close to or a little bit higher than we had before the COVID shutdown. So it's really a positive sign from the lottery product side. Sales for Keno were 27.6. Year-over-year increase was 44.5%, or roughly 8.5 million. And as alluded to earlier, we've had some very strong 8-spot jackpots during the quarter. Jackpot games, also another really good, strong quarter. We didn't have as many jackpots as we did the previous quarter, so sales were down a bit. The Powerball third drawing is being developed, and interfaces are being updated to allow for that. And we should begin testing, we have begun testing this month. I know I zipped through that. Any questions on the lottery products before I shift over to video?
Nope.
All right. Now in video, again, we had a very strong quarter, as talked about earlier. We had some of our strongest weeks in the history of video lottery. We do expect that to level out a little bit as well. We are seeing some strong performance buoyed not only by the openings, but we do have new product going out. Go and the tech services team have been deploying terminals the past few months, and will continue on deploying new terminals probably into October, November. And we're seeing that swap out of the older terminals with newer terminals really buoy our performance. As noted earlier, we have had some strong revenue weeks and months, and so we're looking really strong as far as overall performance. We did open back up at the beginning of, roughly the beginning of the fiscal year when the governor lifted the restrictions related to COVID. And we're right now around 99% of all our VLTs are up and active. There are still a handful that we're looking at and working with the retailers for various reasons, but we're looking very strong on the video product side. Any questions on the video product side?
Nothing for me.
Cool.
Nope, none for me.
Now I will turn it over to Carrie for Scoreboard.
Hi, can everybody hear me okay?
Yep.
Yep, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Chair, Commissioners, Director Pack, for the record, my name is Carrie Hemphill, Sports Betting Product Manager. I'm here today to give you the Scoreboard product update for the last quarter. Quarter 4 was solid. Turnover was a bit down from Q3, which was expected and a natural reflection of the less active sports season, specifically with NFL ending in February of last quarter. We did see an increase in margins, which helped GGR generate over 7.6 million and above the forecasted amount. Year over year, the numbers have shown tremendous growth. Obviously, year to year isn't comparing apples to apples with the COVID shutdown of last year, but growth is still a nice mention to have. Last year's Q4 had just under 595,000 bets placed with about 1.7 million GGR. This year's Q4 ranked in over 2.2 million bets placed and over 8.3 million GGR with about 26,000 unique active players. Both Q4s last year and this year held a margin in the 9% range. In looking at sport interest, basketball was the main driver throughout the quarter, accounting for 56% of total turnover and 60% of total GGR. And we had fantastic margins around 10.46%. NBA led the way. Not surprisingly, the Portland Trailblazers generated the most betting interest. Baseball was the second highest sport by turnover at just under 14 million, but logged thin margins, which was likely a result of marquee favorites winning at a higher rate than normal. Soccer registered great numbers in the quarter. Ice hockey with the NHL season and playoffs also posted good numbers and on margins around 9.7%. MMA continues to be a standout performer, posting a GGR of 469,000 on an incredible margin of 20.46%. The UFC events drive tremendous betting interest for our customers during marquee events. During the quarter, yes?
Sorry, Carrie. Is the 10% margin generally, is that, I'm trying to remember what if we forecasted going, and if we did, is that around what we forecasted? Is it over? Is it under?
It's over. Our forecasts are around 6%.
Thank you.
So we are doing well. Yeah.
Great.
During the quarter, players also showed notable interest in table tennis, and golf. And so it's been a pretty quick quarter. Looking ahead, the NBA season just ended yesterday, and the new season will restart in October. And Major League Baseball regular season is ongoing. We have the Olympics on Scoreboard, which is beginning later this week. I don't anticipate the Olympics to generate a ton of betting interest, but it is interesting content, and it will fill the gap during the summer sports season. And last but not least, football, the NFL's preseason will be starting August 5th, and then the regular season begins in early September. Any questions?
Yeah, Carrie, this is Julie Wilcox. Hey, I can't remember, do we always have betting for preseason games for NFL and other leagues as well? I can't really remember.
Yes, we do. We did last year.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm. Great, thank you.
Thank you. This concludes today's meeting of the Oregon State Lottery Commission. The next meeting is scheduled on August 26, 2021. Thank you all for attending today's meeting. This meeting is adjourned.
Thanks, Molly.
Thanks. Bye.
Thank you. Bye,
Thank you all.
everybody.
Get well, Marty.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.